Hey, it's the right weekend, and today I'm going to talk about um, one of my favorite things to talk about: the media bias. I'm going to show a few things, link it all together, just so you could see. If you haven't seen this image here, let me come before I play that video. I want to show you this image here. Yeah, there's the no, it's not that one. I'm sorry. Let's see. No, it's this one here. Where is it? No, that's one of them. Sorry, so many pictures to look through, and then the one that I wanted to find. This one here is the one I wanted to talk about. I'm going to show what this bozo said over here, just so people could see what I'm talking about when media bias.
What we're about. And I was taken aback by a single image that should make you pay attention to a problem. This one. There's a lot here. Yeah, as an image, to me, it does smack of a bygone era of slavery, aided by reports of people being beaten, whether with a riding crop or the reins, most likely. You may be drawn to the desperation of the man.
I'm just going to play that little bit just so you can understand when I say that the media has their bias when it comes to this stuff. Here's a guy just doing his job, protecting our border, and he wants to compare it to slavery just because it'll get you outraged. That's why they put that image. They want to get you outraged. They want to open up the borders. So what better way to, what better way to get people to want to open up the borders by getting them outraged by the people who are protecting our borders? And that's the great way right there. But that's not how that's not the only way the media manipulates us when it comes to when it comes to these type of stories. You have this one here where Joy Reid, she complained that this whole Gabby Petito case is missing white women syndrome. Like I said, more throwing in race division, complaining. Well, guess what? Here's a lady with her own show. If you're so concerned about missing white woman syndrome and you're so worried about uh women of color going missing, you have a platform. Why don't you use your platform? I never hear of, oh, well, Joy Reid reported about a black woman went missing in in Illinois today. No, you don't hear that stuff from her. So she's just being hypocritical and trying to push division. Um, so like I said, when I say the media has their own, um, they have their agenda. That they have their own agenda. It is what I'm talking about. Um, they, you know, they're biased toward being Democrats, most of them, and that's what goes on. Um, so here, like, there, do you know there was a school shooting? Um, what? Let me see. The school shooting happened a couple days ago. Were taken with gunshot wounds. The other two were taken to the hospital. One with asthma. Drew said there was some type of altercation leading up to the incident at the school. He could not say whether the shooter was a student. So, there was a school shooting, but it didn't fit their narrative. It didn't fit what they when they're trying to portray this stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if the shooter was a person of color. just because the fact that they always want to make it, they always want to divide by race. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's why they don't cover it. Um, but like I said, these stories like this is where you see, and the media covers, they don't want to cover it because it doesn't fit their agenda about covering about racist stuff. Or not only that, is they push the race issue, but they also cover for, they put these issues to push the Democrat Party's agenda, because they're like, oh, we're not biased. Da, da, da. Yes, you guys are. And I'm not saying it's nefarious. It's just the fact that they cover their side. They give their side better light. They don't, I don't want to say, like, some people, oh, it's a conspiracy, it's no, it's not. It doesn't have to be a conspiracy. It doesn't have to be nefarious. It just has to be, Chris Cuomo's a Democrat. Joy Reid's a Democrat. Any story that's gonna put her party in bad light, she's gonna give it a twist to fit her agenda, to fit her biases. Just like I'm doing it now. I'm fitting it. It fits my bias. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm not. I'd be full of shit. Just like these people are being full of shit when they say they don't have a bias. But with that being said, I want to show this a huge story from the election cycle that it was blocked. It was called Russian disinformation. This is the whole thing. You had like news agencies saying, oh, it's Russian disinformation, because quote unquote, former intelligence agents said this, but there's no proof. Now, now that this, well, I shouldn't say it won't hurt. This won't hurt Joe Biden politically, because come 2024, people will forget about this, especially, people like Democrat moderates that we're trying to get to vote on the right with. They'll ignore this. You'll tell them, hey, in that email it said, H, here goes 10 held by H for the big guy. Come on. It's not far-fetched to go who the big guy is. The person that's now the president. At the time he was running, at the time he was going to run. It's just the fact that they hadn't said it. Well, in 2015, this is an email from 2015. He was the vice president at the time. So these emails and all that stuff, they were legit. But the media, in their bias, like I said, whether it's trying to use the racial issue, trying to cover for their preferred party. This is what goes on in the media. This is what passes for news. When, let's say the stuff with the Hunter Biden, they didn't have to run cover by, they didn't have to run cover. They just could have just not reported on it. They could have just been like, you know what? We don't know if it's legit, so we're not going to cover it. Instead, they went the total opposite route and tried to discredit it because it didn't fit into their narrative. It didn't fit into their agenda, their bias, whatever word term you want to use, it didn't fit for them. So that's why, sometimes that's why people goes, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. It's just the fact that these people have their bias and they're blind to it and they can't help it. But so like I said, why am I putting all these stories together? Because this just goes to show you what the media does. You have, this whole story with the Border Patrol and that one picture. They twisted this one picture into, oh, it's racist. It's about slavery. It's about our history of slavery. No, it's about these people. You see these bags here? If you're not watching the video, you see these bags? That's takeout food. These people, these Haitians, were bragging that They were going back and forth between the border to get takeout food. All right. That's how porous the border is in certain places. That's why Trump wanted to build a wall, because not because, they can't get over it, but it makes it more difficult. Studies show that if you just put some sort of barrier, people aren't so gun-ho about trying to go over it. There are some people who are, but there are people who just be like, hey, forget it. But that's what's going on. This is what the media does. This is the sort of divide and conquer that's going on. And we used to agree on what makes this country great, but we can't even agree on that anymore. That's why, when people go, there's a time when Democrats and Republicans used to, we disagreed, but we would still get along. But this is why it's hard to get along, because when you have a party like the Democrats that use race to divide us, when they use identity politics, I know people hate that, especially people on the left. Well, you use identity. No, when I say identity politics, I literally mean when you use, okay, because I'm Latino, you have to agree with, if you disagree with what I think politically, you're attacking me as a Latino. No, it's not. I just disagree with you politically. I don't, oh, well, because you're a white man and I disagree with your politics, white man. No, I don't. It has nothing to do with your color, your ethnicity, what, wherever you came from. It doesn't have to do with your sexuality, none of that stuff. It just has to do with you. It just has to do with you. We disagree politically, but since now we lock our identity into with this, our politics in with identity. Now you're racist because you disagree with a policy of let's say the NAACP. I disagree with Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. I disagree with them. That's because I'm racist. I hate Black people. No, because you have a person like Larry Elder, you have like Thomas Sowell, Black conservatives, Black intellectuals that will go, no, we don't agree with these people. And when you show that, they're like, oh, that's just tokenism. What? Because there's actually Black people that think differently. There's Latinos who think differently. That makes them tokens? No, it just makes some people. It breaks your narrative of having to make people believe that, oh, because you're Latino and you're Black, you have to vote Democrat. No. Just remember that when you watch the news, it doesn't matter whether you're Black, white, Spanish, Chinese, Asian, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is what the media does every day. I'm sorry about the noise today. This is what you have to pay attention to when you're watching the media. They do have an agenda, and this week has shown exactly what it is. I don't know how much more clearer you could see it than what's gone on this week. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there because a bunch of stuff going on upstairs. I'm the Rhyrican. You can follow me here on either YouTube or Rumble. You can interact with me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, and Parler. No, Telegram. Wait, Twitter, Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram. I'm on Parler, but I don't really go on it like that. I'm on all the social medias, but those are the ones I really use more often. All right. No, with that being said, have a good one, everyone.